Welcome to In This Body, the online event to support parents, caregivers, and family members with staying regulated, embodied, and connected, even when things get intense. Today, I'm honored to have wonderful speaker with me, Yunbei Li. Born in China and now based in Munich, Yunbei is a biodanza teacher, embodiment coach, energy therapist, gene keys guide, and artist. Her work is devoted to reconnecting human beings with the wisdom of the body, the intelligence of the heart, and the creative force of life itself. With sensitivity, depth, and warmth, Yumbi creates safe spaces where people can rediscover their vitality, authenticity, and capacity for healing and inner transformation through movement, embodiment, and authentic human connection. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm so honored to have you here.
Oh, it's a big honor for me to be here. Thank you for having me, Nadine.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So, tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Yeah. Well, after this bio, I thought that we could skip this part. But actually, it's very simple. I'm a lifelong student. I'm a lifelong learner
Mm,
on the path of love, coming home.
wow, wow.
Yeah, that's all.
It's simple but profound at the same time. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's my truth. That's my truth. And this coming home is also a way of, it's not an external home. It's coming home to my body. My body is my home.
So true.
The soul, the earth is my home.
Mm, mm.
So it's regardless where I'm physically with this physical body located, I feel I'm home.
And, and that's one of the themes of my event here, like returning back home to the body.
Hmm, beautiful.
Yes.
That's
And
why I'm here.
yes, yes. And knowing that the body is the only home that we have.
Yeah, the body is our home. Yeah.
Mm, mm. So how can we be with this home?
Yeah, what a question. I'm thinking about my title when I was preparing and sending you the title, what I would love to talk about. The title says, Stay with what is. And this stay with what is happening in my body, what is happening in my home. That's really a true challenge, has been a true challenge for me. Even nowadays, still, and uh, and as I shared, I'm a lifelong student. I'm allowed to practice and learn and grow out of this lifelong practice. Yeah, I'm still learning and practicing to stay with what is and also stay in my body. Whatever happens, whatever happens, even in the time of a huge turbulence, of huge unknown, and time of change. Um, yeah, time of especially the emotional turbulence. And in my past, I used to like go out my body. So I don't know where I am, somewhere up in the air. even my body was there, but I was not really there anymore. I took either, the flight or stay there and frozen. So that's you know, the lifelong journey, especially after I have got kids. My kids became my best teachers, my master teachers. And again and again, over and over, I've got this opportunity to practice and to learn how to stay in my home, stay centered, grounded in my body while having a huge either conflict, discussion, and or emotional outburst. All this, um, turbulence and this this practice of notice, becoming aware, and then making a conscious decision, and then self-regulate. That's the toughest job of the whole world. I feel like, this is the toughest exercise for me.
Mm.
And that's something what I would love to share just with all parents and all caregivers, because I know being a mom of two, and I know that might be um, one of the biggest challenges.
Yes, so true. And being a mom myself, I can really second that when all the turbulence is happening and all the um, fear is there.
Yeah.
The turbulence is there because we worry about our kids. We're afraid that they will
Yes.
hurt themselves. So staying in that turbulence without leaving the body is sometimes very challenging because with the constriction that happens and the fear and the anxiety, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Mm.
Could be really very overwhelming if one hasn't done like this trauma work, and there could be a lot of triggers, a lot of stuff being triggered, and all the traumas also stored in our body. So our body stored everything, the traumas, the stories, and the dramas, and also, but also our this whole living intelligence, the wisdom, the intelligence, and also our potentials, our creative gifts, how we would like to, deal with it creatively, out of this stuck, and how we can, deal with it. Um, everything is stored in the body, and it's really key to know thyself, know what is stored in my body, and know what my triggers are. Like you said, you mentioned this fear. Yeah, one of the deepest fear that our loved ones do something or go through something, what to hurt themselves, or to get hurt. And this protection, this instinct to protect them, this fear of something bad happening to our loved ones, or also the fear of like disconnection, yeah, fear of losing love, losing love, basically, like, or fear of being rejected, you know, or fear of being like, yeah, of failure.
Yeah.
You know, when you hear, when hear say, you are the worst mom of the whole world. When you hear this kind of stuff, what triggered? You know,
Yes.
like the huge, deep fear of being a failure, of being a mom, and the failure of being a parent. This deep fear, I've been like so many times dived into this fear. And wow. Yeah. And all the thoughts coming up. Wow. See?
Yeah, yeah, I totally relate to that. And you mentioned something around knowing our triggers and like
Mm,
getting to know what triggers us and what makes us upset. That awareness is a very crucial first step.
yes, absolutely. The awareness is absolutely crucial. And this part of this awareness is the body perception. This is the awareness, the big part, our nervous system, the whole neural reception, 80% is our body sensation, perception, and flow and feeding into this neuroception. 80% comes from the body, only 20% from the brain. It's it's so essential to notice. Becoming aware, you need to notice your physical sensation. Notice, for example, like my heart was like so constricted. Yeah, when I hear this kind of expression from my kids, whew, yeah, get out. For example, this kind of in the teenage,
Yes.
my kids are in the teenage, and yeah, get out, or you never understand me,
Mm.
and or yeah, this I feel like my heart is immediately like this constriction, and I feel, oh, my back, my shoulder, my neck, and I feel my stomach, solar plexus, and I feel pain. I literally feel somatic, literally this pain in my stomach, solar plexus. That's all things what I need to digest. But first,
Yes.
notice,
Yeah.
notice a name. And that's very, very calming for our nervous system. Notice a name this for myself. And I even, sometimes I even name this also in the presence of my kid. So
Mm.
I feel in my heart, I feel pain. And I feel in my stomach, I feel pain when I hear what you are saying.
Yeah.
Ah,
And noticing and naming it sort of acknowledges it.
yes.
It's like the first step. We're acknowledging that we feel this way.
First, notice. This is the
Yes.
first step. And then
Yes.
acknowledge it.
Mm, mm,
This is also part of this graciousness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge it. Ah,
Yeah.
acknowledging whatever I am experiencing, I am feeling, whatever it is.
Yes. So, like, what happens when we don't acknowledge it? Like, when we try to bypass it or when we distract
Then we
ourselves?
lose ourselves.
Mm.
Then we lose ourselves. When we come out of the body, we lose ourselves. Become then disgrounded. We are not with ourselves. Even with this with the acknowledgement, you take over the responsibility, accountability. Actually, this feeling, what I'm feeling right now, is mine. I own my feeling. I feel hurt. And with that, I stay with me. Without that, I'm, outside, external, um, being like into immediately. My focus is immediately I come into either I complain or I blame, and you made me so angry, or you made me so painful, feel all this pain. No, this is my feeling. This is what triggered.
Mm. Yes. Yeah. And and I think that accountability kind of brings us back to our power. It's
Yes.
like it brings us back to us knowing that we are powerful enough to deal with this situation in the right way.
Yes. And powerful enough in terms of that we can accept that we are hurt,
Mm.
we are vulnerable, we feel pain. And this is the wound, this is the hurt, this feeling, what has happened before, in our childhood, our growing up, and our conditioning process, and what happened, but what had been probably not been seen, not been accepted. And now, with this situation, our kids give us an invitation. Life gives us invitation. Our kids give us this opportunity to see what has been buried before in the past, what need to be seen, to be heard, and to be healed, to be embraced and accepted. This is, you know, it's hurting when you hear this kind of words, rejection, blaming, um, it's your fault. you know, when you hear this, it's hurting. And to be with this, to be with this little child in me, my little one, and hold myself, embrace it and hold myself. I used to also, I literally hold myself, also physically hold myself like that, or like that, you know, or like that. Or what I really love to do is like that.
Mm.
All this very physical, this little simple touch this is the antidote. And that's the panacea. For me, that's a panacea.
Yes. Yeah.
To stay in my body and stay with me and to stay in my home, to welcome myself, always welcome myself in my home by embracing all parts, also this hurt part, this vulnerable, very, very vulnerable young parts. They're all there. They're parts of the totality.
Mm, mm. Yes, and uh, I love that you bring totality here because it's nothing can exist without its opposite. If we want the joy and the happiness and the love, but we also need to accept that the other things also exist,
Yes,
the pain and yes, yeah, yeah.
the whole spectrum of being human, and with the light and with the shadow, without light, without shadow, without light, there is no shadow, and also vice versa. And it's the same. Like that's why I really love Jinkies, this Trinity. The shadow, the seed contains, the seed contains the future flower and fruits, and the fruits contains the seed. And that's the whole totality, this trinity in the totality. It's not the bad and good, right or wrong. And it's about, for me, it's about clearly seen. And then we have always this gift, what we can tap into, our creative gift, tap into to transform or transmute. Yeah, it's not always easy, but with this different inner attitude, I feel this embracing, all embracing attitude. It makes a world of difference, to accept the shadow part, the seed, to accept there. Yeah. And that's used to be really one of my biggest challenges, to allow myself to be vulnerable,
Mm,
especially being a parent. We very often like, oh, how it's supposed to
mm,
be a mother. Yeah, this and this, the whole list of responsibilities and obligations, what you are supposed to do, what is proper, appropriate, and what is a good mother or father, a caregiver, whoever, what kind of role. But being a parent, it's really, and very often we just fit into this role description. This is our conditioning. Yeah? That's how what we experience, what we have told, what we have learned from the books. But no, I am Yunbei. I am a human being. I'm just, a normal human being. I can get angry. I can be hurt. I can, be sad. I can. This is part of my humanity. You know? Being human, I I have my instincts, I have my animalistic or animatic, my animal part, I have my human part, the humanity part, and I also have my divinity, you know? I, I'm the Trinity.
Mm. Yeah.
And accepting also myself. I'm just a normal human being and having all these aspects of my, all dimensions of my being and all aspects of my being. And allow me be myself, even I am a mother. That's how I got with the time, I that's something what I share just very, very honestly, also with my kids. When I got hurt, when I, made mistake, I say, I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I'm just a normal human being. I make mistake. I make mistake. I'm not a perfect mom. That's what it is. That's who I am.
This is so empowering for your children because they are seeing you role model that it's okay for them also to be human and to make mistakes. Um, I I grew up in a household where both my mother and my grandmother were sort of demanding that everything is perfect. And I used to see them put on this perfect persona in front of strangers. And like I used to feel that I had to live up to those standards. And that put me in a lot of shame and a lot of like feeling not enough. So giving our children this opportunity to see us vulnerable and normal humans who make mistakes and feeling okay to make mistakes. It's
Mm,
like, it's such a gift to our children.
wow. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for sharing that. Also, your story.
Mm,
That's true. That's true. And especially what you just mentioned with this word, this shame. This is so empowering when we talk about it.
mm,
And this is also something what I I would like to really acknowledge that it's also my one of my progress. It's not an easy progress,
mm,
but it's one of the progress. And I even also in front of my kids, when something happened, when this kind of, when I noticed I made a mistake, and I even say, I feel this shame
mm,
in me. I feel it in me. And you know what? Every time it's so beautiful when I show up with my totality, let's call it. When I show up as who I am, who I really am, there is always deeper and more connection came afterwards between me and my kids. The real connection. Because the frequency of authenticity is the highest frequency. That's what connects us, what entrains us into a bigger field.
I want to say that again. Authenticity is the frequency that connects us to a bigger field. Wow. Yeah, yeah. And it's it's a gift to our kids when we are authentic. Mhm, mhm.
I guess that's the thing. When we, as parents, when we work on our own topics or our own themes, our own wounds, and that's actually the best gift for our kids. Why I'm saying that? Because the authenticity is, be who I am. That was used to be my biggest wound, that I got disconnected from my true self, and disconnected from my own real truth, disconnected from my own serenity, authority, sovereignty. That used to be my biggest wound, that I have got lost. I lost myself. And through all these years work, healing work, and also becoming a therapist and healer and working with people, human beings, beautiful human beings, beautifully imperfect, perfect human beings, really got me back to reclaim what is my truth. And then I stay true to my truth. And when I am doing that, or I am that, it's part of my being. When I am that, it's automatically and naturally supporting, helping, and empowering our kids to be also who they are.
Mm. Yeah.
That's a support what not comes from our mind or concept or cognition. What is good for you? What we think, we believe what is good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. It comes from that state of being.
Yes.
Mm, mm,
From the state of being.
mm. Uh, I want to go back to, when we were talking about shame. And,
Mm.
that feeling of shame is really very painful in the body because it's
Yeah.
even more intense than anger or hatred. It's like hatred directed inwards.
Yes.
And it's so painful that we immediately want to,
Disappear.
dissociate and like
Yeah.
disappear from the
Disappear.
body. Yeah, yeah.
Disappear. And it's a shame is a very visceral
Mm,
sensation, very visceral.
y-
I just
yeah.
feel in me there is a deep, deep black hole. I want to just disappear into that black hole.
Mm, mm,
Or in front of me, I want to just immediately dig a black hole and then disappear into it.
mm,
It's very, very painful. But
mm.
shame loses its power when we talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When we acknowledge it
when we
and
acknowledge
normalize
it.
it.
Yeah, when we see it and acknowledge it and also embrace it.
Mm,
It's it's part of being human. It's part of being human for us to learn and to grow.
mm, mm. And I know you mentioned at the start the gentle, loving touch, physical
Yes,
touch. And like, I think what helped me the most is being able to meet my shame in this way, in this physical way,
beautiful.
rather than going into stories or trying to analyze it or to fix it or to, blame or uh, do something about it, but to meet it physically. Like that was so powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The
Mm,
two antidotes, one is breath.
mhm,
Keep breathing. Keep breathing. When I feel shame, very, very often is also just unconsciously we stop breathing. Just want to disappear, uh, contract. And if I, yeah, I use rather yeah, I forget breathing. I forget breathing. First one, keep breathing. And second one, loving touch.
mm,
Just like you said, yeah, this physical touch. Our body knows and our body can receive that, Our body cannot tell this touch, this loving touch, this is a kind of trick. We trick our body that our body wouldn't say, oh, it's just the touch what you give yourself. It doesn't count. Our body
mhm,
doesn't say that. Our body receives this as yeah, as a sign of safety. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay what you feel, what you're experiencing. It's okay. And you are still safe. You are safe.
mm,
You are being held. I really love that. You know, this ventral vagus nerve, yeah, it comes from here, and literally it's hardwired, and from this and then go deep and into the body. And it's always good to, you know, this time it's help the body to hardwire, to reconnect or to activate the vagus nerve and to do this. See?
Mm.
I need this very often. And not only with my kids, but with my kids very often.
Mm.
Also, when I notice it's too much, it's totally out of my range, what I can hold. I cannot hold myself anymore. And it's also okay. That also happens. It can be so overwhelming. And I'm a highly sensitive person, and I have sensitivity. This is my life's work, gift of my life's work, the sensitivity. I feel everything. And when this emotional turbulence in the field, and I have an open solar plexus, the only one in my family, the open solar plexus. And when I feel all this emotional turbulence, it could be so much. And then I notice, when I notice it's too much, I becoming overwhelming for me, then I acknowledging this being overwhelmed. And then because of this whole self-knowledge, yeah, I know it doesn't help anyone when I stay there. When I'm overwhelmed, I will retreat.
Mm.
Then making a conscious decision, I will take time and space to retreat. This is a part of the self-care, what I also want to share and bring into. This is really the self-care, this ultimate self-responsibility or ultimate responsibility overall, generally, in general, I feel this is the ultimate responsibility, what we must to take self-care. Otherwise, we cannot take care of anyone else. No one else. Even we think, oh, we take care of our kids. But if you forget yourself, it doesn't help your kid at all. In contrary.
Yeah, so true.
So I
Mm.
need retreat.
Mm.
I accept my, my human needs. It's particularly in my case, and this is one of my fundamental needs to retreat, to find a safe space for me, for myself, to hold, all parts of me, embrace all parts of me. If I want to shout, I shout. If I want to, get this energy also through movement out, if I'm, I can through sound, through movement, and get this emotion. Yeah. Emotion is energy in motion.
Mm.
If the emotional integrity is not acknowledged, if we um, go to the suppression, yeah, we suppress, control and yeah, suppress this. And then the emotions are all stored in our body also. Yeah. If we suppress it, then it becomes disease. Dis-ease. So that's how the physical illness come. So this emotional integrity and also having an outlet for us for this emotion that bring the emotion into motion and into the flow and the stagnation, the distortion and the blockage, if we need that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Of course, it doesn't mean that we go to the other people and to project all this out. No, it's not a. Especially here is something what we need to yeah, be mindful about. Um, to find a safe space for yourself, safe space where you can be loud and you can move and you can also cry. That's something what I very often do. Being a mom,
Yeah.
also being a human,
Yes.
that's for me absolutely necessary.
Yeah. And having that, first of all, that, safe retreat where it's
Mm,
just you, your solitude,
yes.
your non-judgment space, uh, and that healthy outlet. Maybe you can talk just a little bit more about that healthy outlet. I know you teach dance, and uh, to wrap it up just a little bit about how can we use what kind of healthy outlets are available for us.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for this question. This is a beautiful, beautiful question. Um, this is also my favorite topic. Talking about movement, this move outlet in movement, it's for me, it's dance. It's dance with music. And the music, anyway, is medicine for the heart. And there are all kinds of different music. And in biodanza, and in this modality, what this this method or this system is very, very inclusive with all kinds of different music pieces. And but for the safety, for example, to build up this safety feeling, we can use rhythmic music, on to dance batucada and dance with the rhythmic dance. For example, the earth dance, just dancing with the drum, follow the rhythm. Yeah. And that's something very, very soothing for me. And also what I have witnessed and to gain a bodily sense of security, safety with the connection with the earth and the connection with the rhythm. Rhythm brings us safety, the sense of safety, because rhythm, it repeats, you know, you know what comes. You have this certainty. And that's definitely something what we need sometimes fundamentally, rhythm and routine. Yeah. And that's the rhythm. Another movement could be melody, you know, melody, and to go into the flow and um, swinging into the melody, yeah, and also like a dance of fluidity and bringing all the stagnated energy into flow. And between this position of the whole life is a position. Everything is a position. Breathing in, breathing out. Dancing, breath, yeah. This is a position. And our heartbeat is also a position. And this position of between expansion and contraction, expansion and contraction. That's also something what when I felt my heart like totally closed, I'm telling myself, and that's something what I learned from our beloved Tamayo, also one of our Jinkies oracle. She used to said that, yeah, whatever happens, yeah, immediately you can tell yourself, nobody is dying. Nobody died. That's something what I, need to remind myself again and again, like before I go into the reaction and into the trigger. Nobody is dying. Everything is okay. Yeah, it's okay. And even my heart in that moment closed, totally closed, it's also okay. And you know, I I do dance, for example, with the generate generic posture with the intimacy, with putting my hands just gently on my heart, gently accepting what is in my heart, whatever it is in that moment, full acceptance and just in me. Yeah. And when I feel, and I can also loving touch, also with the music, loving touch and carries my hands, carries my face, or carries my heart. Really to romance my heart, to romance it back to open. Just very simple things, I'm this part of my embodiment practice. It's not necessarily the biodanza exercises. And biodanza, we dance more, but also they are all human movement, very natural human movement. Chorus and walking is also one of the dances of biodanza. Yeah, walking or synergic jumping or rhythmic coordination with another, in couple, all this kind of exercises. So it's there are so many beautiful, beautiful exercises and ways to come back to our home or to stay, to stay and dance. I would now actually add one word to the title, what we wanted to talk about today. Yeah, stay and dance with what is.
Mm, mm. I love this. Stay and dance with what is. This has been wonderful. How can people know more about you and about Biodanza?
Yeah, I have this website, and it's my name, Yunbei. and um, how to call
Dash,
it, a
dash.
dash,
Yeah.
yeah, a dash, and Lee, a dot, com, and just my name and with a dash in between and dot com.
I'll
And
put the
on my
link.
website, there is all the informations and about what I do, Biodanza, and Jinkies, guides, and also the healing art and yeah, the embodiment practice, and also for organizations. And there are all the informations. It's still a work in progress, not complete yet. Not complete, but still complete.
Mm,
So that's the source where you can find, especially under the events, and you can see the upcoming in-person or online events. What I'm going to host or co-host. Yeah, and what very very dear to my heart is indeed there will be biodanza workshop in person in this digital age. This analog, this presence event is becoming more and more precious, and that's something what I'm going after. And this workshop is upcoming at end of June in Munich. And the theme is about instincts and our existential creativity, how to create our life anew
mm. Wow. Yeah.
out of this reconnection with the source of life.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
with life's intelligence. Yeah,
Wow. Very beautiful. Yeah.
everyone is welcome.
Yeah. I'll put all the links under this recording. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yeah.
Thank you
And
so much
mm,
also
and
for
to
having me.
yeah. And just to end, like one quick sentence to leave our listeners with, quick
Mm.
message.
Ah, what comes to me is actually also the favorite quote from Richard Richard Rudd, founder of Jinkies, and what he said: "Awakening is really a series of softenings."
Mm, mm,
That's the thing. I wish every one of us um, this softening and this gentleness, especially with ourselves.
mm.
Especially with ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for receiving me. Ah, with my truth, my whole spectrum of truth.
Mm. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah. Thank
Mm.
you.